What's up? You know why we're here. We're back with another Bible reading. Today we are in Hebrews chapter 3, and the title of that text is The Evil Heart of Unbelief. Starting in verse 1. Wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Jesus Christ, who was faithful to him that appointed him, as also Moses was faithful in all his house. For this man was counted worthy of more glory than Moses, inasmuch as he who hath builded the house hath more honor than the house. For every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is God. And Moses verily was faithful in all his house as a servant for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken after. But Christ is a son over his own house, whose house are we, if we hold fast the confidence of the rejoicing of the hope firm unto the end. Verse 1 through 6. God had identified Moses as the one who was uniquely faithful in all his house. In Numbers 12:7, his faithfulness was for the sake of showing the superiority of the faithfulness of Christ. Since Christ was faithful as a son over his own house, Jesus was faithful over the house of which Moses was a part. Jesus, who was faithful in his role of bringing the gospel to those under the condemnation of the law, is therefore worthy of more glory. Wherefore, as the Holy Spirit said today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years. Wherefore I was grieved with that generation, and said, they do always err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. So I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living God. But exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. For we are made partakers of Christ, if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast until the end. While it is said, today, if ye will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation. For some, when they had heard, did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses, but with whom was he grieved for 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness, and to whom swore he that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believed not? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. Verse 7 through 19. Having established the superiority of the gospel of Christ to the law of Moses, the author proceeded to explain the meanings of Psalms 95. His purpose was to warn his readers that if the punishment for disobedience of the law was severe, then punishment for faithlessness to the gospel would be far worse. The result of such unbelief is divine judgment. They would not enter into God's rest.